coming up.
It was a drop out of the sky. They hit the water at a heavy rate of knots.
The search for the truth.
I need to know, why is he dead?
What really caused the tragic Taipan helicopter crash.
We're slowly learning more about those crucial final moments on board the doomed helicopter.
That's next on 60 Minutes.
It's an awful pain to bear. The families of 4 Australian airmen killed after their Taipan helicopter crashed off Hamilton Island last year still don't know why. Of course, there's been much speculation that the make of chopper was a notoriously unreliable dud. And to that end, the Defence Department has discarded its fleet of 46 Taipans. They'll never fly again. But 4 months ago, 9 News National Affairs editor Andrew Probyn revealed on this program there could be another reason for the fatal crash. Now, Andrew's obtained details from a secret report about what was happening in the crucial minutes before the tragedy.
They were supposed to be a powerful asset, but Australia's fleet of Taipan helicopters has been anything but. Last July, the military's troubled acquisition ended in deadly tragedy. Corporal Alex Naggs, Captain Daniel Lyon, Lieutenant Max Nugent and Warrant Officer Phil Laycock perished when their Taipan chopper crashed off Hamilton Island. Since that terrible night, David Naggs has faced an agonising wait for the truth about his son Alex's death.
Why? How? You've got all these people, very capable people looking after these aircraft, very capable people flying them. How the hell did this happen without a shot being fired?
What's it been like trying to get information out of Defence?
Impossible.
Frustratingly, David and other family members of those on board still don't know what happened, and that's despite sitting through the lengthy hearings of an independent inquiry into the crash.
We are conscious of the dreadful effect the deaths of these 4 aircrew on 28 July 2023 have had on their families, friends and colleagues.
While the inquiry has looked at a number of possible contributors to the tragedy, there's one that's always stood out. 4 months ago, 60 Minutes revealed how, long before the Taipan crash, the Defence Department's own safety experts wrote an alarming report pointing to serious problems with the helmet-mounted navigation equipment used by the pilots. The technology is known as Top Owl, and in evidence finally put to the inquiry, the high-tech helmets were deemed a substantial risk of multiple deaths.
You need extra cues to help you judge the aircraft attitude on very dark nights.
Chief Army Test Pilot Lieutenant Colonel Brendan Reinhardt works for the Army Aviation Test and Evaluation Section.
So the combination of Top Owl being a very good system that allows you to reduce your workload and fly the aircraft and incentivise you to look out. If you then put in some incorrect or ambiguous attitude information, those two adding up together, as I think my report says, leads to some unacceptable risks.
Yes.
Just try and keep away from the report and what your opinion is, please.
Well, my opinion is that, theoretically, those combinations lead to spatial disorientation or CFIT and accidents.
Colonel Reinhardt's testimony was damning. The helmets could cause pilots to become so disoriented they quite literally risked flying aircraft into the ground. But it gets worse. The original report, warning about the possible dangers of Top Owl, was written by Colonel Reinhardt's colleague, Major Ian Wilson. Colonel Reinhardt knew its conclusions would be unpopular and was so concerned about the reaction of the military's top brass, he took the precaution of ordering a further level of scrutiny.
Because I knew this issue was going to be topical. And I wanted an extra set of eyes to go through that report independently and review Major Wilson's conclusions and where I was going with this report. I wanted that independent review.
Colonel Reinhardt's Army Aviation Test and Evaluation Section went to great lengths in highlighting the potential shortcomings of the Top Owl system. But there was criticism and resistance from the military. Ultimately, his team was told their concerns would be ignored because the equipment had already been paid for.
So it was a very uncomfortable situation. I would go to meetings to discuss my report, and people would lead with, Major Wilson is wrong, and I would have to correct them and say, this isn't Major Wilson's report, this is the ATES Flight Test Organisation report, which has been through a review process and is signed by me. It was awkward.
We're slowly learning more about those crucial final moments on board the doomed helicopter. 60 Minutes can reveal the Defence Flight Safety Bureau's interim report has effectively ruled out mechanical, engine and airframe faults. But there are other details in the classified report that point to more troubling aspects of the flight, including the pilots switching control of the aircraft not long before disaster struck. The Taipan had been flying third in a formation of 4 helicopters on a nighttime military exercise, the horizon and moon obscured by low cloud. 2 minutes before the crash, Captain Daniel Lyon took over as the flying pilot from his more junior co-pilot, Max Nugent. Moments before impact, the helicopter lurched upwards, then in 6 seconds plunged downwards, smashing into the water at 130 kilometres an hour.
Yeah, they hit the water at a pretty heavy rate of knots. So it was a drop out of the sky.
The aircraft's flight recorder indicates the last action of the pilot was a desperate attempt to regain altitude, suggesting sudden and catastrophic disorientation. And that, in turn, points back to the troubled Top Owl navigation helmet. Other pilots have told the inquiry of their own difficulties with Top Owl, including on the fateful night of the crash. It's yet more weight to a possible conclusion that it wasn't the Taipan helicopter to blame, but rather a bit of kit the military had been warned was a lethal risk.
You've got a report that says you do this, you're going to end up with dead people. They do it, they've got dead people.
Hello, I'm Adam Hegarty. Thanks for watching 60 Minutes Australia. Subscribe to our channel now for brand new stories and exclusive clips every week. And don't miss out on our extra minute segments and full episodes of 60 Minutes on 9now.com.au and the 9Now app.